Okay, so, right, this time I'm going to be going over like the statements, such as all of these after the execute command, because you can't really run the execute command if you don't know what all of this does. So there's basic ones such as, at, and if. These are the most used ones, I would say. There's also unless. That's like the else statement, kinda, you know. But yeah, okay. As, and then you put your name. This itself will tell you that's who's running the command. It'd be like as if you were typing it in chat, like they were typing it in chat. The at statement, that tells you the actual position based on an entity, and so you can set that at yourself as well. And then whenever you use the squiggle things, they'll actually be set at your position, and you can do it based on yourself. That works for the other one too, in which direction you're facing. And then if. The if statement, that itself has a bunch of different things. So if biome, this will check if there is a specific kind of biome at one spot, and if there is, then it'll execute whatever command you got. If there's not, then it won't. Block checks for a singular block, and blocks checks for multiple. You can see this here, right? Right, yeah, anyway. So those three can be combined to pretty much do basic actions and create basic things. There's other ones too, and they are a little more difficult. Run, that's pretty obvious. It just runs your command. I think I talked about that last time. Store command is probably one of the most difficult to do. I mean, in my opinion, I don't like using it because it's very difficult for me to understand for some reason. But okay, so there's a line. Um, so axis, right? That's gonna be like it's aligning to something else. And okay, so how do I explain this? Armor stands, right? Or whatever, really. They're not always in the exact position you want them. Okay, so you do this, right? You execute a line, whatever, right? Invalid special expected combination of X, Y, and Z at position 15. Right? What does that mean? Well, I'll get into that. So, how to write this? Okay. What this does, right? You're aligning, instead of typing the actual number, you type out the variable. This will cause it to run and align based on whatever you type here, right? X, Y, and Z. It'll align in the exact center of their block on the bottom half of the entity if it's 2 blocks tall. If it's 3 blocks tall, I think it's still on the bottom, but I could be wrong. I don't really remember. The only mob that would count for that would be like the Enderman or Ghast or something. But that's basically a line. I don't think it has much else to use it for, because then it just goes straight into this. Anchored. Eyes and feet. Anchored eyes, right? Anchored feet, right. What does that do? I actually don't know. All I know is that there's two options, and I'm guessing it keeps you based on either the position block of your head or the position block of your feet. Now, that's only two positions, and they're pretty easy to know. I mean, there's one up here, there's one down here. Pretty simple, right? I mean, okay, anyway, execute. Already did all this, already did all this. Facing. You can do an entity, you can do a specific block. So whenever they're facing that block or entity, or in this instance, you can type out anything, right? Type equals armor stand, right? And limit equals 1, right? Okay, so there's actually a lot of these that you can type in here for these. There's advancements. If a player has that. Look, see, it literally describes it. Entities between x and dx. Now, x plus dx, right? That is basic math. It's just calculating the. Never mind. It's 2 points basically on the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Game mode. That means anybody with that game mode, that's going to be survival, creative, adventure, things like that. Experience level, that's, you know what an experience level is. The entity's name, yeah, that's pretty easy. The NBT, that means it'll take anybody or any entity with that NBT tag, and, you know, you write the NBT tags typically whenever you're summoning things, so you know what that is, and you can use it to do all that, which that'll be helpful later. What is this? I've never seen this one before. And if anybody has questions about it afterwards, I'll find the answer and tell you in the comments or whatever. Because I legitimately didn't know that was a thing. Um, one might be a value, I'm not sure. But scores. Okay, scores. This you're gonna like. Oh, maybe it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So then you type out your. This is for writing a scoreboard, right? You have your scoreboard name, and you're gonna put like. Oh wait. Right. So that's your custom name and all that. But yeah, the sort. That's tag. Tag is like. I think that's the name tag. The team is also set up with scoreboards. The X position, that's their X position. You know. X rotation, that's what way they're facing. These are just applied to, there's no Z rotation. You know why there's no Z rotation? Because it's the same as X rotation. Pretty much. It's just 90 degrees more. But yeah, that's basically all of them except this one and sort. I guess that's sort the entities. Okay. You know, I mean, yeah, you can probably figure that out. Probably sorts them. But yeah, just figured I'd go over that for a second. Even though it's not really about that right now. In right in execute in, this just tells you which dimension, right? You can do it in the end, the nether and the overworld. Execute on. Now this tells you like the specifics, like if somebody's attacking you, you want to execute on the attacker, you want to execute on the controller, the leasher, the origin, owner, the passengers, the target, in the vehicle. The leasher, that's going to be for your leads. Controller, that's going to be like you know, when you do something. The origin, the owner of something is going to be like if you have a pet dog, you're the owner of that dog. going to show that in the NVT tags. Passengers, if you're riding a mine cart or something, that's going to show that. The target is what you're hovering over, like whenever it hovers over the hitbox, right? That's very good, very important. The vehicle, whatever you're in, basically boat, minecart, pig with a saddle. Positioned. Okay, so positioned as, you can do that. Positioned over, and this will do various things. Motion blocking, no leaves, ocean floor, and world surface. This is specific for this dimension. But not really. You know why? Because world surface, that's basically the one you will use for that. And you can also use specific coordinates, obviously. Rotated as a player, right? If you or entity really. If you share the same rotation, it'll execute the command. Run, I'm gonna do store last. It's kind of difficult for me to explain, so I'm really contemplating how I'm gonna do that while explaining all these other things. Summon, right? I think I already went over this, but just in case. Basically, you summon something, right? And then you can run another command. Pretty simple. Unless, now this is like the else, right? It's going to be the same as if you put the if statement, right? Go over here, type the if, right? It has the same stuff. It's the exact opposite, right? If something happens, then you execute the command, and unless that happens, then you execute the command, which means everything else happens. It continues to happen unless something else happens. Hence why it's called unless instead of like an else statement, but you know, it's just like that. Store result. Okay. So this lets you do block, boss bar, entity, score, and storage. This can get pretty complicated. Now, most of the time, I'm going to show you how to do entity, because most of the time that's what I have used. But if you have any questions about these other ones, you can join the Discord or even comment, and I will explain it in the comments as well as I can. Because I don't think that I'm going to be able to explain it without thinking about it severely. And that takes time. Okay, so yeah, result entity, right, nearest entity, right? You can actually create your path. Are these written like this? Probably. Okay. Now, right, you don't have to do that. It's just more convenient if you do, really. It keeps it as a Minecraft file, custom file. Yeah, it's complicated. Can't really explain it. I don't know. I don't know where I learned that from, to be honest. Just kind of use it. But yeah. So there's byte, there's double, there's float, there's int, and long and short. I think you want to store it as a byte, but I don't remember. Scale 1, and then you can go and run whatever other command. Now, I don't know if this is true, okay? I use this so rarely, and the only time I used it was to store an entity's data so that way I could reference it later. And I ended up deleting it anyway because I found out a different method. So, but there's also double, float, this. It's integer, but they shortened it, I think. Long and short. This one's a good one too. So that's the basic versions of these, right? So, okay. Now, if else statements in normal languages, you would do if, you know, let's say data. Oh, okay. Yeah, here. Watch. Data, entity. And then you can write in your actual custom path. Whenever you have to actually have it like saved, though, right? This won't work now because I didn't save it. But, right, there's your custom data. You don't actually want to put it in an if statement. I'm just saying. You can, where is it? Might be store. Let's check. Success, entity. Minecraft, anyway. Right. If it succeeds, then I think it picks it up, and then it continues. Again, I am not very good at using the store command, like the store. I figure out different ways because, honestly, it's just easier. But if you want to learn more about it, and you want me to learn more about it, then yeah, just ask questions. I will be forced to look it up and answer it. But at this current time, it's 11 at night, and I'm very tired. So, yeah, everybody knows the pain of not getting enough sleep. Okay, why is this important? Um, so when certain things happen in the game, like ticks, change, and whatnot, right? You can place any block down, right? Right? Say you're making a custom map or something, and you have a set thing right here, and you want them to place a block right on top of that. You can check for this position of this block and execute whatever command you want with literally almost every statement. Okay, let me specify. Every statement that has to do with if, like the unless statement, the if statement, right? Over here. Unless, if statement, right? Okay, that's basically the only two actually. But you can also write facing. If you're facing this specific block, you can NBT this block, I think. Probably. I don't know. But yeah, make a custom block, do that. Um, you can execute literally every command here. Again, not all of them will work, but a lot of them will. You make some pretty cool maps using the world border. Um, you can make some titles appear whenever looking at that block. You can remove that block and say, hey, why did you remove that block? It was very important in holding up all of my code because sometimes it could be. And then the game doesn't work, and then they have to be like, hey, you got to place that block back down. You can make a whole system just for saying that and criticizing somebody for breaking a block. That'd be really funny. I would like to see somebody do that. Um, but yeah. Wow, how long is this gonna last? Oh, I can make this last 20 minutes, right? You know, good amount of time. I was expecting this to take longer again because I didn't expect me to have issues beforehand because, it took like an hour to get this to work because I had to restart my computer and whatnot. But yeah, y'all don't care about that. You guys do not care about that at all. Um, you just want to see the explosion at the end. I know it. Oh, man, you know what's crazy? So I don't even have anything to blow up. Again, the rage bait grabbing the TNT from the inventory and then not even using it because guess what? The fill command. Oh wait. I guess this time I can use this. Oh no. I'm gonna do this one. Like, watch this. -1, 2, -1, and then I'm gonna go over here and type -10, -10. Oh no, let's not do that. I want it to be positive. And then like that. Oh, I didn't even. Also, you don't even need Minecraft before that. It won't even count it. It does not care one bit. Cool, look at that. I know that's not a lot, but it's what is there to blow up? Cool, cool.